Good morning, welcome to Haywire Homestead. We're heading out to get the barn chores done and we are running a little bit late. So we've got to get going, get ourselves cleaned up and dressed because we are heading on a little bit of a trip into town to go help one of our local charity organizations called Empower Youth. And one of the wonderful things that they do is they work with the food bank to provide weekend meals for needy kids in our school district. So we'll go in and help them pack up and get some of those meals ready for the next week. Something that I really want my kids to understand is helping out in their community. It's not just about us. It's a really wonderful thing for us to help everyone and give to others. So we're going to be doing that. So let's go ahead and get all these animals fed because they're wondering where I've been. So one of the goals on the homestead is for us to have water catchment, and we are not ready yet. Haven't had the money to get the gutters on the barns to get started, but if I set a couple of buckets out under the edge of the roof, I do catch some water, and I've been using that to water the chickens. And see. Good morning, girls. Good morning, Beatrice. Hi there, Miss Piglet. Who's ready for some breakfast? Huh? Don't be eating the wood over there, little miss. Crazy goat. Okay, now you hear Beatrice coughing. She actually is not sick. She actually has allergies. So, just in case anybody's wondering why I have a coughing goat. Come on, guys. Come on. Come over here and figure out, what are you doing? What are you doing, little Miss Daisy? Now Daisy is a little special needs baby. She's around 11 weeks old, and she was born with turned in eyelids, so we had to take her to the vet and they had to help us out fixing that. But she was also born with a small cleft palate inside her mouth, so it doesn't affect the exterior features. She looks perfectly normal. We supplement fed her for the first 10 weeks. We just recently weaned her. She did, for the first time, have a bout of mild case of pneumonia this past week, and we had to put her on some antibiotics. So it's not a very successful surgery if you do it. I spoke with my vet, who has taken the time to talk to some of the experts that have actually done the procedure, seen the results for cleft palates in goats. It's pretty easy when it comes to dogs, but goats, their palate is a lot different than a dog's. So it's probably about a 50-50 chance that the surgery would be successful. The fact that she has made it to close to weaning age is already a good sign that she should hopefully do well now that she's basically just on solid foods. We're really struggling with getting her to go after the grain. I switched to a sweet feed to make it a little bit more palatable, and seeing as the pieces are smaller than the pelleted grain. So we're going to see how she does, but she's very cute and very sweet. And we do not plan on breeding her. So she will probably either stay here as a pet or she will go to a pet home. I do have a friend who has offered to take her and keep her as a pet, so I know she would be very loved there. If anyone knows of any other successes in regards to cleft palates with goats, I would love to hear your comments and suggestions because we do really like her. She is a very sweet girl. But I'm going to go ahead and go add some food to the creep feeder, and then I'm going to work with her a little bit because I do hand feed to get a little bit of grain in her. Good morning, old lady. What you doing? A little bit of spring grass coming up right there, and she's decided it is much better choice than going to the hay feeder. What are you doing, Mr. Fish? Hi, Mr. Fish. Hang on.
I'm operations manager. Weird.
If you can get one off, try to get the first one because I won't have to stop there with it. And so having some management is great. So kids are already back in the house. I was just sitting here thinking about sometimes it's really hard to say no to the things you really want. And we kind of fell on an opportunity to potentially really grow our homestead. Found a 26-acre farm in our school district that was in foreclosure. And if the house was okay, we definitely would have jumped on it. But after looking at the house and questioning some things about it in regards to the slopes of the floor, some unevenness. It was an older farmhouse, so some settling and things would definitely be expected. But after just having my brother look at it, because he works for an architect, so he knows a little bit about structures and things, and looking, there was an addition that was added on that just wasn't 100%. There was also a question of the fact that it did fail a pressure test with the water company, so we weren't sure where the plumbing issues were as well. Someone had gone in and done a lot of updating, put new windows in it and new siding, newer roof, new furnace, all of those things. So those were great bonuses, but just all of the unknowns and the recommendation from two friends who came and checked it out for me that said your best bet would be to just bulldoze the house and put a new one on. We just looked at it and said this just financially is not feasible at this point. I mean, we probably could have pulled it off, but it definitely would have probably made our mortgage a lot more than it is even now on our 5 acres with a larger home. And I just keep sitting here and going, man, what I could have done with that 26 acres, woods, a pond, plenty of pasture. Most of the fence was already in place, a 5-stall horse barn with a huge feed room, 3-car heated garage. The house had you could put a wood burning stove in it. So many things that are on my want list of things I want to do, but sometimes you can't always have what you want when you want it. The smart thing is not to do too much too soon, and we probably bought the place we have now a little sooner than we probably should have, but we make it work no problem. But the opportunity and for that acreage was just, oh, it was so tempting, and very, very sad that it's just not going to work. And I just want to remind everybody that sometimes, even though those temptations and those good deals are there, and as much as you hate to say it, sometimes it's just not the right time. And we definitely are taking a step back on this one and gonna have to let it slide. And hopefully in 3 or 4 years we'll be in a better position and we'll be lucky enough that something else will come along. But I just wanted to share that with you guys, that we all have those struggles. And what are you doing, kitty cat? And sometimes you just got to be patient, and it'll get there. It'll get there.